Chris Ryder with R&R Realty here in Juno Beach, Florida. I am going to go through in this video here how to count days in the FAR bar contract, specifically the FAR bar as is contract. Now, the FAR bar as is contract is used in probably 90% of transactions, at least in the Jupiter area where I practice real estate and throughout Florida. The FAR bar contract specifies days counted in any timeline are counted as calendar days, and any timeline, independent of one another, that ends on a Saturday, Sunday, or national legal holiday extends to the end of the day on the next day that is not a Saturday, Sunday, or national legal holiday. So, for this example, we are going to assume that the effective date of the contract, the date that it was fully executed with copies delivered to both parties, being the effective date, is the 13th of November. That becomes day zero in all timelines. I'm going to also assume, just for illustration purposes, that there is a 10-day inspection period specified in the contract and an 11-day timeline for the secondary deposit to be due. That is fairly normal to have the second deposit due the day following the as-is inspection period. It's sort of a go, no-go kind of scenario. Now those timelines rather, can be anything. But again, let's assume that we have a 10-day inspection period beginning on the 13th. The 13th is day zero, the effective date. Day zero is the effective date. That means we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, the 23rd of November is Thanksgiving. It is a national legal holiday. Therefore, the as-is inspection period would extend automatically to the end of the day on the following day that is not a Saturday, Sunday, or national legal holiday. It thus extends to the end of the day on the 24th. That end of the day is 11:59 p.m. Now, these timelines run independent of one another. Therefore, the 11 days specified for the buyer to make the secondary deposit, that also ends on the 24th. That is day 11. That timeline does not extend. So thus, on the 24th, it is the end of the inspection period, and the buyer should have made the secondary deposit before the end of that day. Now, again, these timelines run independent of one another. Another common timeline is the time to make application for the condominium or the homeowners association. That is typically a short timeline, typically 5 days, but again, anything could be written into your contract. So let's go back to the 13th and count 5 days. Again, day 13 or November 13, the effective date is day zero. So that means we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Saturday the 18th. It's a Saturday. That timeline extends to the end of the day on the next day that is not a Saturday, Sunday, or national legal holiday. Thus, the buyer would have until 11:59 p.m. on November 20th to make application to the condominium or homeowners association. So that's the simplistic part of it, and it really doesn't get much more complicated than that. I'm going to post a link to my blog posting that goes over all this in the comments. And I will say this, though, that if your agent doesn't know how to count days in a contract, then it's time for a new agent, and perhaps you should give me a call. Thanks very much, and I hope this helps.